Morning, Facebook. How are we? Hello. So I put a post on one of the Facebook groups, not one of my groups, just one of the ones I'm in, and I had a couple of questions come back to me about how to handle investors. Now, I'm sitting here, usually like first one in the building, so I'll do a little video. The kettle's boiling, I've not had my coffee yet, so I thought I'd just do a quick video. How to handle investors when you're trying to source deals. Now, interestingly, I think there's a lot of people who forget that they get to choose which investors they work with and which investors they don't work with. Okay, it's your business, and you have the choice to work with the people, the clients that you want to work with. There are some amazing investors out there. There's lots of investors that I work with who are happy to follow the rules, are happy to give the paperwork over, are happy to answer the phone even. You know, there's some people that just don't even answer the phone. They want to deal with everything on text message. Honestly, it can be a pain in the arse, okay? So I guess my top tips, in terms of making sure that you're dealing with the best investors you can, and I'll be honest, you know, we still deal with idiot investors. There are still a lot of them who feel like they're better than me, feel like they're better than my team, speak to my team appallingly, assume that they know best. Unfortunately, that's just people. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. It doesn't matter who you're dealing with. They all deal with everybody the same. So I'd be interested to know, if you just stick in the comments box, if there's anyone on. I can see there's a few people on, but what have been your experiences of investors? Because if there's any specific questions I can answer, I'd love to. Just put them in the comments box. But yeah, so top tips really are, do your due diligence checks right at the beginning, because once you start to get an investor through that process, through the due diligence section, then actually what ends up happening is they have to commit, they have to put some time in and some effort in. Now, if they're idiots and they have no intention of ever buying the deal, and they've got no money, and they're just really kind of sneaking around trying to figure out what's going on, and sadly there are a lot of those, then they won't put the effort in to actually fill out your forms, sign your terms and conditions, send you over their ID. Now, there are still some that will go through that process and then just become a pain. That's just the nature of it. What I think you have to remember as well is they're busy people, just like you're busy people. So it's important that also you treat them with the same degree of respect that you would expect to be treated with. It's a business partnership. Okay, you're working with them. You're not working for them. You're not their employee. You're working with them to help them grow their business. So it's important they understand that, and it's important that you understand that as well. In regards to getting rid of the tyre kickers, again, what we do in the business is we ask obviously for all the ID and all those sorts of things. We also ask for all of our investors to fill out a brief sheet, I think we call it. I think we call it a discovery sheet. And it's basically just an opportunity for them to write down their actual criteria, exactly what they're looking for. Now, sometimes you can look at those briefs and they come in and there's investors that know exactly what they want. They know what returns they want. They know what postcodes they want. They know what types of houses they want. They know what budget they've got to spend. They can send you things like proof of funds and all of that sort of stuff. On the other hand, you've got investors who will just send you back anywhere, any type, anything. Now, as a sourcer, it's important that, especially if you're sourcing to order for particular people, it's important that you push back and say, anything, any type, anywhere, it's no good to me. I need to know what you want. I need to know how I can help you. Yeah, it's really important that you push back and explain to them that unless they can give you some sort of guidance in terms of what they actually want, what they're really looking for, what they're trying to do in their business, it's really going to be difficult for you to serve them well and help them to grow that business. So there's a couple of tips there really. In terms of communication with your investors throughout the process, okay, sometimes it's really difficult to get hold of investors. That doesn't change whether you are someone who's selling loads of deals every month or whether it's someone who's doing two a year. Ultimately, communication with busy people is always going to be hard. So what I always advise is to have every means of communication available to you. So make sure you get their phone number. There's lots of people that will communicate with me on Facebook, but right at the beginning, when I first started, I didn't have a phone number for them. So I was trying to call them to get feedback, or I was trying to call them to do something or fill out something or go somewhere to a meeting or something like that. And I couldn't get hold of them unless I sent them a Facebook message. And we all know what Facebook's like. You know, everyone gets millions of messages every day. It's a really difficult way to keep the communications concise and simple. So get their email address, get their phone number, get their Facebook, you know, whatever means of communication they like. You know, if they're a WhatsApp person, then WhatsApp them. If they're a text person, then text them. But just make sure you've got options available to you. We had some viewings yesterday, and the investor was brilliant. He phoned me straight afterwards, gave me his feedback, has positioned what he needs us to go back and negotiate on top of what we've already negotiated. That level of communication is what I try and do with all of our team, and that's really supported by Kat, who runs our investor liaison processes. But it all starts with making sure that you start everyone off on the right foot. So making sure right at the beginning you position yourself as someone that's there to help them. Okay, don't let them speak down to you. They're not better than you. They're partners. Okay, they are equal. Your business partners. You're working together for a mutual gain. Okay, so don't feel like you have to follow what they want you to do just because they're the ones with the money, because you don't. Okay, they will have more respect for you and more trust in you, and you'll be way more credible if you just follow the rules. You've got a system in your business. Stick to it. That is really one of the things that's changed our internal workings substantially since when I first started, and I felt like I needed to do what they wanted me to do. And now, where I just stick to my guns generally, you know, there's nobody that gets an address out of our business on a property to do their desktop vals or anything like that until they've signed my terms and conditions. Nobody. It just doesn't happen. And, you know, I think as an industry, as sources, if we all kind of seem to follow the same process and we're all doing things compliantly and as we should be, then investors will get used to it, and investors will actually then just start to fall in line to a certain extent. I think as well, thinking about compliance, are you compliant? You know, if you're going to be asking for ID, you know, anti-money laundering documentation, all of those things to do your checks, then you obviously need to be data protection registered. You need to be able to show them, you know, what your ICO number is and all those sorts of things if they ask for it. Don't ask for people's private information if you're not set up compliantly, because you're going to get in trouble for it, and people aren't going to want to give you their data. So it comes as a balance. Okay, you need to be doing things right your end. They need to be doing things right their end, but it's all about communication. One of the things I know that Tina Walsh does, it's not something we've introduced yet, we're in the process of creating a document, but what Tina does is she has a document that goes out to her investors right when they first start working together, and it basically is a document that explains the next step. You know, this is what we're going to do, this is how it's going to work, this is why I have to ask for these set things, this is where my sort of commitments are in terms of compliance and all of that sort of stuff. And that document goes out right at the beginning. Now that document then just sets the playing field. It sets the expectations on all parts, you know, what they can expect from her and what she can expect from them, and provided they're happy to work like that, then she progresses. If for any reason they're not happy to work like that and to kind of fall in line with her system, she doesn't progress. You guys don't have to scrap around trying to find investors that don't want to follow the rules and don't want to work with you. Okay, there is enough investors out there, great investors, really, really great investors who want to work with you. Go and find those guys, or find somebody that's got access to those guys and work with them in partnership. I hope that's been helpful this morning. I'm going to go and make my coffee now. If there's been any questions, I'm just going to have a quick check for questions and just see if anyone's got anything specific. It is quite early, so there's probably not many of you on. No. Okay, cool. There's nothing specific that I've not covered anyway. There's a couple of questions, but nothing that I haven't already answered. Guys, have an amazing day. Happy sourcing. If I can help at all, let me know. See ya, bye.